Death penalty. It was in news because West Bengal is trying to introduce a bill to treat rape equal to murder, proposing death penalty or life imprisonment. So we have heard about the RJ Kar Medical College, and everyone is shocked by the fact that such a heinous crime can take place, especially at a working place where women are supposed to be safe. So that is the reason why this bill is being introduced in the Bengal Parliament. So now let us understand about the death penalty. So what is death penalty? The death penalty is also known as capital punishment, and it is the legal process by which a person is put to death by the state as a punishment for its crime. And who are given death penalties are persons who are accused of most heinous crimes such as murder, terrorism, espionage, and certain drug related offenses. So it depends on the country and its law. So, who are awarded the death penalty and how heinous is the crime, that is decided by various countries and they have their own law. Now, let us understand the type of death penalty. So, when we go to the history of death penalty and when we look at the modern dynasty, the principle followed to punish a person was eye for an eye or hand for an hand. For example, it was like if you slap me, I'll slap you back. Jaisi karni, वैसी भरनी types. The later dynasty followed different types of punishments, such as dragging the body by the horn, cutting off the head or any body parts, stamping by an elephant, which is very brutal in nature. And in medieval times, the punishment was worst. Women who were accused of witchcraft, they were burnt alive, and people were drowned in the river with weights tied in their feet. So the medieval period and the ancient period had very brutal types of killing people. If you want to go, you can just check out in YouTube. You'll get a series of most brutal ways in which people were killed during that time. And we are going to discuss the death penalty that is still prevalent right now. The first is hanging. In India, the death penalty has only one option. If suppose a person is awarded death penalty, it is carried on by hanging till death. So only hanging till death is prevalent in India. And another is lethal injection. In lethal injection, a series of drugs is injected to the convict and that acts as a paralytic agent that stops the heartbeat. So lethal injection is prevalent in United States, China, Thailand and Vietnam. It is often considered as a more human method of execution. Another is firing squad. In firing squad, a group of shooters aim at the condemned person's heart, causing death by gunshot. This method is still used in some countries such as North Korea, and it was reinstated in the United States as an alternative to lethal injection. Another is electrocution. In electrocution, the condemned person is strapped to an electric chair and exposed to a series of electrical shocks that cause death by damaging vital organs. So this process was there in United States, but after lethal injection, it has become less common. Another is beheading. In beheading, the accused person's head is severed from the body, usually by a sword or axe, and it caused instant death. So beheading is still practiced in some countries like Saudi Arabia, and historically it was used in Europe, but right now it has been removed from Europe, but it is still practiced in Saudi Arabia. Another is stoning. In stoning, the person is buried up to the waist or chest and then pelted with stones by a group of people until death occurs. So it is also a very painful method of dying. So stoning is a method is used in countries that follow strict interpretations of Islamic law, though it is very rarely used nowadays and it is very, very controversial. Countries like Australia and Canada, they have abolished the process of death penalty. So death penalty is not given in countries like Australia and Canada. Now let us understand the death penalty process in India. A person accused of capital offense is tried in a sessions court. If found guilty, the court can impose the death sentence. So remember the fact that even the session court can give death sentence. But every death sentence awarded by the session court must be confirmed by the High Court. So the role of High Court is very important here. The trial court or the session court, they can give the death sentence, but it has to be confirmed by the High Court. So if the High Court confirms the death sentence, then the convict can go to the Supreme Court. So the another remedy available for the convict is to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has the power to uphold the decision, reduce or overturn the death sentences. Another remedy available for the convict is the review petition. If the Supreme Court upholds the death sentence, the convict can file a review petition within 30 days of the judgment. The review is conducted by the same bench or a larger bench in some cases. If the review petition is dismissed, the convict has the option to file a curative petition. And curative petition is the last legal resort for the convict. So this is the last legal resort for the convict, and this curative petition is rarely granted, and it is heard by the same bench that handled the review petition. And after the curative petition has also been dismissed, the last resort that lies for the convict is mercy petition. The convict can submit a mercy petition to the President of India under Article 72 or the Governor of the state under Article 161. So, President of India and the Governor of state, they have the pardoning powers. Regarding the pardoning powers, we'll be studying in detail in the polity classes because it is a long lecture. And right now we are just understanding that President of India as well as Governor of the state, they have the pardoning power. But there's a difference between the pardoning power of the President of India and the government of the state. The difference between the two is the president can pardon a death sentence. So the president can even pardon a death sentence, but the governor of state cannot pardon a death sentence. They can only commute a death sentence. So what is the meaning of commute is they can substitute the death sentence with a lesser punishment. And if suppose all the legal remedies are exhausted and the mercy petition is denied, the death sentence, which is death by hanging, is carried out. So you can see that the convict has a lot of remedies available. So it takes a lot of time for convict to be finally be executed. If we look at the Nirvaya's case, we can see that the convict was hanged after 7 years, 3 months, and 4 days after the incident took place. Now let us talk about the observation made by Supreme Court on the execution of death penalty. The first is death sentence should be awarded only in the rarest of rare cases. So death sentence can be awarded only in rare cases in which the person has crossed all limits of brutality, not in simple cases. So this is a point which Supreme Court continuously points out. That is, death sentence should be awarded only in rare of rarest cases. The second is the right to life is a fundamental right, and this right is covered under Article 21. And the court should interpret the law in a manner that protects this right. The third observation made by Supreme Court was the court should take into account mitigating factors such as age, mental illness, and socio-economic background while deciding whether to award the death penalty. The fourth was the execution of death sentence should be carried out in a humane manner. So that is why we do not have other extreme forms of brutalities and punishment like stoning the person to death because we believe in protocols that should be in a human manner. Another is it points out the importance of fair trial, and the Supreme Court has also given the need of judicial review for death penalty. So we have the judicial review in the form of curative petition and review petition. Here are the last five cases of death by hanging in India. The first one is on March 20, 2020, and this is the recent one in which Mukesh Singh, Akshay Thakur, Vinay Sharma, and Pawan Gupta were hanged in Tihar jail for their 2012 Delhi gang rape case, also known as Nirbhaya case. In February 9, 2013, Afzal Guru was hanged for his role in Indian Parliament attack in 2001. On November 21, 2012, Ajmal Kasab was hanged because he was the lone surviving gunman from the 2008 Mumbai terror attack. On August 14, 2004, Dhananjay Chatterjee was hanged because he was convicted of the rape and murder of a 14 years old schoolgirl. And on May 10, 1995, Otto Shankar, also known as Gauri Shankar, was hanged in Chennai. So he was convicted of murdering six teenage girls in Chennai.